If you feel overwhelmed about the real estate market and really not sure where to start, well, you've come to the right place.
Should you sell your house or should you turn it into a short-term rental? What's happening, guys? I'm Austin Evans, your Central Arkansas realtor. And if you're a homeowner looking to make a move, you could be asking yourself that very question. With the increase in interest and demand for short-term rentals, that idea of not selling your home, but maybe making it a short-term rental can be a very tempting idea to do. Now, I have a lot of clients, a lot of investor clients who have done just that. We go through this practice, we talk about everything, the steps, the process, everything that goes involved to making your home a short-term rental. Now, before you make that move though, you really need to step back and think about two major things to keep in mind before you pull the trigger, whether you make it a short-term rental or just to decide to sell your home. First one is this, guys. Short-term rentals demand a lot of maintenance and work. Guys, you don't need me to tell you, a short-term rental is the equivalent of a hotel where guests are constantly checking in and out. They're booking reservations. When they check out, you're going to need to clean the room, clean the home. Maybe you've got to keep the landscape up. All that maintenance can go a long way and cause a lot of work on your end. On top of that, guys, the constant turnover of guests does create more wear and tear on your furniture, your fixtures, the floors, the carpets, everything in the home, guys. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. On top of that, with all the things I just listed there, are you going to do this yourself? Or are you gonna hire a property manager for you? Most property managers will charge you what's called a net 10%. What that means, guys, is whatever you charge as your weekly, daily, or monthly rate, they will take a 10% cut of that rate to manage and handle all the things I just listed out ahead of this. Now, you gotta ask yourself, is that worth it? Do I have the time to handle this? These are really important questions for you to step back and think about before you decide to make your home a short-term rental. Second thing, guys, that you really need to think about if you're planning to make your home a short-term rental are regulations. Guys, as short-term rentals have increased in interest and demand, a lot of local governments have created regulations around what you can and cannot do. You've got to pay attention to things such as, is there a limit on a number of weekly or monthly vacation rentals you can have? Does the neighborhood with the home have an HOA? A lot of HOAs do not allow short-term rentals or anything under 30 or 60 days. You've got to pay attention to things like that. On top of that, a lot of cities have implemented things such as you must have a permit or a license in order to have a short-term rental. Guys, make sure you really look into the legality of what is and isn't allowed, because if you start a short-term rental, turn around in a few months and realize you can't have one, you are stuck with this situation that you did not want to be in. So highly recommend you sit down with a local real estate professional, maybe even an attorney, to go through what I can and can't do if I do turn my home into a short-term rental. Bottom line, guys, thinking of turning your home into a short-term rental versus selling is not a decision that you take lightly. Make sure you sit down with professionals in the area, such as your local real estate professional can explain what the current market conditions are showing and can shed some insight as to what may or may not be allowed in terms of regulations. On top of that, you could reach out to your local government officials or an attorney to help with any of the legality questions you may have along the way. Like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope this was helpful. If you have questions about the real estate market as a whole here in the Central Arkansas area, feel free to comment, give me a call, send me a text. I'd love to help.